Welcome back to the I Can Do Anything podcast. My name is Colin, and today I am joined via telephone for a brief little NBA conversation with my good friend Ben VanDokkumburg. Some other pretty random conversation. What was just a telephone call turned into me testing the audio to see if I could, just to see what it would sound like. I'm really picky about the way audio sounds, which is why I never did this until now, but now I have high quality microphones and like actual recording equipment, and I was a little worried about what it would sound like because I was asked by Ben and a couple other people if they could just phone in and talk on the podcast via phone, so I was testing it, and I think given the way that it sounded, I was pretty happy, and Ben VanDokkumburg is probably going to join me somewhat frequently. I don't really actually know. I'm just throwing it out there and in hopes that maybe Ben will want to. Ben will be like kind of like my Utah Jazz and Utah Jazz and Minnesota Timberwolves correspondent. So now to my previously recorded conversation with Jazz and Timberwolves NBA correspondent and all around great motherfucker Ben VanDokkumburg.
So, how's the NBA, man?
Dude, the NBA is great. Have you been watching a bunch?
Yeah, I've been following it. I haven't, over the past 2 weeks, I haven't followed as much. I've been leaning towards college a little bit, but I've been, reading online and looking at scores and listening to podcasts every day.
Dude, yeah, the NBA is so fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, the Jazz got a nice piece today.
Yeah, no kidding. They've been playing like shit, kinda.
No, that's the Jazz have?
Yeah.
Well, they have, but they have only played two teams that are under 500 so far this year, and one of those teams was the Rockets. And they've played 14 or 15 road games already out of 22. Out of 22 games or 23 games. So they're on pace with what they're expected to do. It just sucks that the games they're expected to lose or would be tough or front loaded. So they can't shoot, which sucks. So Korver is great. They've had the most open threes in the NBA so far this year, and they haven't been knocking them down. So Korver will help with that.
Yeah,
Burks
he'll help,
was a good player, but not great.
He'll help, but Korver's not gonna get any open threes. I mean, he will. But
it with him out there, at least shifts the defense though.
Yeah,
and gives Donovan a few more lanes to get through. And
did he miss another game? They didn't play last night, did they?
They played.
Oh, they did.
Donovan
they played.
They played
Oh, he played last night. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a decent game. Nothing huge, but Derrick Rose is so efficient. He's amazing. He shot 55% from three in November.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's shooting 48% from the field. He's averaging 19 points a game in 29 or 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, he shot the ball 75% last night from the field and 80% from three.
Yeah, and he's been doing that. Obviously not quite like that, but it's just he's taking good shots and making them. But I never thought he would be a shooter.
Do you think that Derrick Rose will start by the end of this year for Jeff Teague?
No. I think that it's a better role for him coming off the bench. He's good with a role. He knows. He always says in his interviews too. He's I'm here to be a veteran for these guys, for these young guys and everything. So he's okay coming off the bench, and he'll probably want to play closer to 38 than 30 minutes a game.
Yeah,
but kind of what Harden did way back in the day.
Yeah.
So, So he's, because they don't like to run that much, that team, which kind of sucks. But they're more in the half court stuff, which Rose isn't as effective. But yeah, I don't think he'll start. I mean, maybe in the playoffs if they make the playoffs or something. But
yeah, but if they made the playoffs, then why switch that up?
Stick to what they're doing. But because they have Tyus Jones too, who adds a different element too, like a pass first guy, and maybe if they played Rose off the ball and Jones in there at point. Then they got Covington and Saric I forgot about. I haven't watched since they've been playing, so I don't really know how they fit in. I know Covington is a perfect fit for Thibodeau, but
yeah, it was Covington had 21 last night. They beat the piss out of the Spurs last night, 128 to 89.
Right?
Yeah, they were up 44 at one point.
Butler's a good player, but I've liked him. He's been on teams that I've liked pretty much his whole career, and he's always just been dramatic. Good player, and if he could fit in Philly, they'd be sweet, but
he's hit a couple pretty big, well, I don't know about pretty big game winners, but yeah.
In the first couple of games, but if, like, I feel like if they go on a little losing stretch, him and Embiid are going to kill each other.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I could definitely see that.
I'm sure that's something they've talked about before, just like, don't fuck this up. But
he was fine in Chicago
but he hated
at the beginning.
Him and Rose hated each other at the end because he wanted the ball, because Jimmy wanted the ball, which makes sense because Rose wasn't very efficient. But
and then they played together in Minnesota. Do you think that was part of why he didn't want to be there? He
didn't get along with the young guys.
Well, yeah, I know
that, trying to
but
push them too hard. I mean, I'm sure that's part of it too. He never. I don't know. He seems like a weird guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy and everything, but
I liked him at first, like in his first couple of years in Chicago. I liked that he was like kind of like Kawhi. He's just kind of quiet and went about his business and played defense.
Yeah, two-way player. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm just excited that Utah. I looked at their schedule to see like when they should be able to go on a run, like when they play a bunch of bad teams, and they don't have a big stretch like that until beginning of March, and then they should win like 15 or 20 in a row. Like they have a super easy schedule from March till the end. So I think their last like 3 games are tough, but I think they just go through the Eastern Conference and then the bottom of the West at that point. So that will be exciting. So it's fun that Derrick Rose is playing well, and then that Donovan Mitchell's cool. It'll be cool when he's like not hurt.
Yeah, if he's not hurt.
Right. Who do you like besides the Lakers? Pacers?
Yeah. You know, I can't watch Pacers games because League Pass blocks out whatever is in your region. So I don't think I've watched a single Pacers game.
That sucks. You should just use your parents' Comcast login. And
I do.
ESPN.
But
they're Fox Sports.
They have theirs is like Fox Sports Indiana, and my parents' cable package doesn't have Fox Sports Indiana, but it has Fox Sports Detroit.
Well, that's okay.
So I haven't watched a single Pacers game.
They're cool, but you know what? There's a lot of other cool teams.
You're right. There are almost every team is watchable. Although there are some games that I look at and just like the Knicks are pretty much unwatchable.
Yeah.
Well, they might be the only team though.
When KD goes there. But Knicks. Yeah. V's agrees.
So KD's going to the Knicks?
Yeah. Stephen A. was all big on that. He was like screaming about how awesome that would be because he's a Knicks fan. Yeah,
of course. That would be really great for the Knicks.
But he was talking about that because with Steph out, the last like 2 or 3 games, KD's just been shooting like 30 plus times a game.
Yeah, he's not going
to do that here, but if he wins another championship, the Knicks are a great team for him to go and shoot 30 or 40 times a game with Porzingis coming back.
Yeah, and he can get paid a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, playing.
And they still might be able to win a championship.
Right. Could you imagine if the Knicks just all of a sudden were sweet? Dude, are you watching that game tonight? The Toronto Golden State game?
Yes, I'm excited. That's going to be really good. How's the fantasy league going?
It's good. I have a first round bye in the playoffs. which this is the last week of regular season, and I've clinched that. Carson's going to miss the playoffs, which is great.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's fantastic.
His team got fucked over by a trade. When Golden Tate got traded to Philly, he had Golden Tate and Alshon Jeffrey, and they were both doing pretty well this year. And now they both suck on the same team. So that like fucked his team over, and he could take the ACT, which would again be fucking awesome.
It's funny how Carson's one of our best friends, but we just want him to just cheer for him to suck.
Everyone I know roots against him.
At everything, though.
He's the villain. Yeah, in our league. People that just meet him want him to lose. So, Bees is nodding his head. He's saying it. Remember when we used to just sit in your basement and talk shit about Carson?
It's so easy.
It is. There's just always something. But, yeah, so fantasy is good. It's fun. I'm kind of looking forward to it being over.
I love that you guys, the loser, has to take the ACT. I think that's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think this year depending on who it is, I think that we're going to try and make them do it in Vegas, because we're all going to Vegas for opening weekend of March Madness.
Oh, wow.
So, could you imagine waking up on a Saturday morning going to a Las Vegas high school?
Is the rule? Wow. Is the rule that you have to get shit-faced the night before?
It's like an unspoken rule. So,
yeah.
The thing that sucks is we've done it for 3 years and only one person's taken it so far. But the guy...
Oh, that's stupid.
The guy who took it before, he lost again. So he's going to take it with whoever has to take it this year. And then the third guy who lost, Brett, we haven't talked to him since he lost. Like, he never paid for fantasy. So we kicked him out of the league.
No.
So,
Carson's roommate from Grand Valley?
Yeah.
That guy was interesting. The one that lived upstairs or downstairs? Brett. Yeah. Okay.
Brett. Yep. So if I had to put my money down right now, who was going to take it, I would probably say Kyle's little brother Jay. His team's been pretty bad. Carson could be there though. He's lost like 5 or 6 weeks in a row. So, how's the house, man?
The house is great, dude.
Do you like having a house?
This place is mine and nobody else's.
Yeah. But that's great.
All my stuff is in it. All my stuff was somewhere else, but now it's here in this place that wasn't mine like 2 weeks ago.
Now it is. Is it? Do you have projects you have to do there?
I got all kinds of shit going on, man.
Cool. Yeah. I heard houses are expensive.
Yeah, I definitely didn't pay for the majority of this house.
Yeah.
And probably never will.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. What was I going to say?
By the way, I've been holding the phone up to the microphone this whole time, and it sounds fucking great, dude. You sound crystal clear through my headphones.
Crystal, huh?
It's almost like you're here.
I am. I am. What cell phone do you have right now? The iPhone 8?
I have the iPhone 10.
Ooh, how's that?
It's two better than the 8, and it's 4 better than what I used to have.
Wow. If you do the math.
I should do the math?
If you do the math, that's like,
That's 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more than 3.
Yeah. Man.
No, it is actually pretty cool. The little face unlock thing is quite handy. And what other things do I like about it?
It probably just is a new, clean phone that runs well.
Yeah. There's
That's
that.
Always nice.
My camera works. My camera was broken sort of on my old one, which is why I got a new one.
Yeah, just to have a pure phone that works. I have the Galaxy 7. I think I'm going to get the Google Pixel. So that'll be something.
My boss is switching over to Google Pixel and all Google, because he said that most of his stuff is Google products.
Yeah, That's how I am too.
He wants to make it all Google products.
That's how I am too. So I'm going to switch over to their cell phone plan too, Project Fi.
What's that?
It runs off of Sprint towers, T-Mobile, Sidekick, Hit Looking Mug towers, and U.S. Cellular towers. And it gives you the best of the three services that's there right now, and then it runs off of 2 million Wi-Fi hotspots too.
Damn.
So you have good service, and then you just pay like a flat. It's better if you have a family plan with it. You can have up to 6 people on it, but you pay $30 for unlimited, or maybe it's $20 for unlimited talk and text, whatever. Then $15 per person to be added on, and then $10 per gig of data you use, but it's capped at 10 gigs. So if you use 20 gigs of data, you only pay for 10, so you're gonna pay $100. But if you use 6 gigs of data, then you only pay 60.
Well, it sounds like it's time to start cranking out some kids then.
Yeah, just so we can get a good cell phone.
Just plan. So you can have a nice cell phone package, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get it. You're growing up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, do you like Zion Williamson?
No, I think he's stupid.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Do you like RJ Barrett?
No.
Is he stupid too?
He's just dumb.
What about...
No, actually, did you watch the Gonzaga game?
I did not.
He fucking hogged the ball like crazy. RJ Barrett. Yeah, he took the last 5 shots, and all of them were pretty bad shots.
What I feel like is going to be their problem.
Yeah.
But Michigan's really good. Michigan State will be pretty good. I think they need to figure out scoring a little bit, but
Michigan, I haven't watched a Michigan game, but, well, that's not true. I watched a little portion, and just from the little portion, they look just their people, the human beings that are on their team, just pass the eye test way more than Michigan State's.
Yeah. They
just got a lot of, they seem like they got a lot of lanky, 6'3" to 6'8" sized black guys that can jump and shoot.
And play defense like freaking animals.
Yeah, I'm worried that they might be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, they play Michigan State twice in the last 5 games.
Yeah, that's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm not too high on Michigan State.
I don't think
their recruiting class wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
The kid from Michigan, the little white dude, what's his name?
Foster Lawyer.
Yeah, who put up 45 or something on West Ottawa in the championship. He's just not cutting it.
He's just not big enough.
No, he's a fucking 6 foot white guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's great skill, but just not big enough. You can't do much when you're that size.
No, it doesn't work. He should have gone Division II and just put up 60 a game.
Remember, what was that guy's name? Jack Taylor or something like that, who put up 100 a game?
Yeah, he should have done that. Yeah.
He shot 60 times a game.
He scored so much.
Yeah. That's what Jimmer's doing in China, too.
Yeah, putting up a bunch of fucking shots. But it would suck to live there.
Yeah.
Do you have any desire to ever go to China?
Nope.
That's one of the lowest places on my list.
Do you have an Xbox or PS4?
I have an Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm. I bought David's Xbox, and then I just bought 2K. It was on sale for $30. And the My Player guy, he's starting in China.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I was playing my career on NBA 2K13 the other day.
How's that? Dude, 2K19 is awesome.
I bet it fucking is. I might rent it.
Did they make for 360? I think
I don't know, dude. That was gonna be my next question. Did I asked somebody that the other day and they didn't know?
I'm pretty sure. I know they did for PlayStation. Maybe it was the last PlayStation 2 game.
That would make sense that they would stop making games for 360.
Yeah.
Damn, then I'll probably never play it.
I saw. I mean, not that you have other things to spend your money on, but they have PS4s for $200 right now, a bundle.
I would never fucking play.
Yeah.
Ever.
Really?
I mean, like once a month, maybe.
Yeah. I like to think about things like to justify their expense with like $1 per use. That would take you a long time to use that. Make it worth your while.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to go. $1 per use.
Like for shoes or for pants or something like that.
In that regard, then pants and shoes are definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, if
I
you
guess
get, like,
depending on how much you spend.
yeah. But you should.
Someone doing the dishes behind you?
B says.
Nice.
Yeah, classic.
Stupid. Fucking idiot.
All right.
All right, Ben, are you going to push the button or am I?
I'll push it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so that was Ben VanDokkumburg joining us live on the I Can Do Anything podcast. And I wasn't sure how the audio was going to work, but I was just holding the phone up to the fucking microphone and it sounds exactly like a call in. I know that that's not the way they do that in big time productions. You know, this is a pretty big time production, but it worked pretty nicely. So I want to talk a little more in depth. Ben and I just kind of jumped around a little bit in the NBA because none of that was planned. And for the longest time, he didn't even know that I was recording. So is that illegal? Ben could probably sue me. Although I did tell him afterwards, I guess. Or in the middle of it. And he didn't fucking bat an eye. Although I couldn't see him. So maybe he did bat his eyes. I'm sure he blinked. Okay, so Wednesdays, was it Wednesday's games? Yes, Wednesday's games. There was 10 games, I believe. Yes, 10 games. And the first one that I want to talk about, let me pull up the scores here real quick. First one I want to talk about is Houston Rockets versus Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks kind of beat the shit out of the Rockets. James Harden had a triple-double, and again, a triple-double in a loss. Luka Doncic played really well. Had that buzzer beater from damn near half court to end the first half, I believe, and finished with 20 and shot 54% from the field, 42% from three, had 6 rebounds, 2 assists. 4 turnovers is too much, but he does handle the ball quite a bit. It's interesting that he's listed as their power forward, and that makes sense because Dennis Smith is, you know, like size-wise, I guess that makes sense, but Luka does a lot of the handling, and I think I don't know if I gave like an actual prediction for Rookie of the Year, but thus far, Luka Doncic looks like the Rookie of the Year. I think he would be my vote at this point in the season. But going back to Harden's triple-double and a loss, I talked about this a couple games ago when he scored a shit ton of points. It was a couple nights ago. He had 50-something in a loss. I think it might have been to the Clippers. I don't actually know that, but this kind of goes to the most valuable player argument that I enjoy having. It just doesn't seem like his big nights don't result in wins the way that LeBron's do. Like over the last couple games, you've seen LeBron not play his best, and the Lakers have lost. And even if Harden plays his very best, he can't beat a team that finished with very little amount. I don't remember what the Mavericks, how many games they won last year, but you lose by, 20 to a team that was no fucking good last year. Now, granted, the Mavericks did get Doncic, who is having an awesome year for a rookie. He's having an awesome year for anybody. I mean, really, he's played really solid. There's only been a couple down games, but for the most part, he does a chunk of the ball handling, and he's like kind of not flimsy. He's just kind of like, he looks really unathletic. He just looks kind of lumpy and like not like he's in shape at all. He looks like just a guy that you'd play against at the Y, and he's a fucking 19-year-old sensation. It's kind of fascinating, actually. He just does not look like he would be any good at basketball. Okay, the next game was the Bucks and the Bulls. I watched, I think, like a quarter and a half of this game, and this was one of the last games that I got to, and was a little. The final score was 116 to 113, but let me look at the box score and see what people finished with here. So Zach LaVine had 24. Jabari Parker also had 24 on 42% shooting, 2 of 6 from the three-point line, and 8 rebounds and 5 assists. Jabari Parker is now starting. When I made my prediction for Sixth Man of the Year, I guess I didn't really take into account how much the Sixth Man award is really just kind of like, it's almost like somebody other than Lou Williams or what's his name, Jamal Crawford. Like, it's almost like those are the only 2 guys that are even that could win the Sixth Man award. Now, I didn't think Jabari Parker would necessarily. I think he'll probably start from here on out. I don't think Robin Lopez is going to start. Who else? Who are their other big guys? I don't know if Shaquille Harrison is a big guy, or Chandler Hutchinson, or Antonio Blackney, or Cristiano Felicio. But I would imagine that he starts the rest of the year. But the Sixth Man Award is really kind of like just like it's like a members only club. There's like 3 guys. Last year there were 3 guys if you include Manu Ginobili, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, that could win the award possibly. It's kind of interesting, actually. So Jabari Parker has played pretty well the last couple games, and looks like he's kind of in a groove after coming back from what I believe was a knee injury last year. Those kind of things take time, and you either see somebody. It was actually probably good for him that they started him coming off the bench. I think maybe that's what they should have done in Boston, because Marcus Morris they knew going into the season that Marcus Morris was good and a really solid all-around player. Maybe Boston should have started him from the beginning and brought in Gordon Hayward at the bench rather than starting Hayward. And now, there's really no way of knowing whether or not Gordon Hayward was going to be as effective, but maybe I think I just kind of like the way Boston handled it a little better, bringing Parker off the bench, and good for Parker for being humble enough to not cause issues and just come in and play well. Even when he was coming off the bench, the reason that he's now starting is because he's played well off the bench. So it's cool to see guys just kind of take that kind of thing in stride and just play through it and just organically work your way back into the starting lineup. The next game on the ledger is the Timberwolves and the Spurs. I don't know that there's too much to talk about. Ben and I touched on Derrick Rose and how well he's playing a little bit earlier. That's really awesome too. I haven't seen a lot of it. I haven't watched the Wizards, but it kind of just warms my heart that Derrick Rose is playing well again. Like I said before, he's scored 16 points last night with 6 of 8 from the field and 4 of 5 from 3. So that's really cool to see Derrick Rose playing well. And it seems like Robert Covington and Saric, like I talked about yesterday, are fitting in pretty nicely. Saric still coming off the bench and Covington starting at small forward. Let's look at the Spurs side. DeMar DeRozan had 10. LaMarcus Aldridge had 10. And they got 14, 11, and 13 in double figures from 3 bench players, but their starters played pretty horrible. Bryn Forbes had 6, Derek White had 6, Rudy Gay only had 3. There's no excuse for Rudy Gay to have 3 points. He's 1 of 5 from the field, shot 20%, and 1 of 4 from 3 in 18 minutes. Now, granted, it was a blowout. That's why a lot of these bench guys, I'm seeing the guys towards the end of the bench played 12 minutes, 17 minutes. Patty Mills played 18, who he usually plays more than that. But their leader in minutes was DeRozan at 28, but they had a lot of guys. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys play in the 20s in minutes, and then Rudy Gay and Patty Mills played 18, followed by Davis Bertans, who played 17 minutes, but that was largely because of a blowout. But if you're Rudy Gay, there's no excuse for scoring 3 points. That should not fucking happen. Anyways, the Wizards and the Pelicans was a fun game to watch. Something that really stood out to me was the backup point guard for the Pelicans, and the Pelicans broadcasters talked about it quite a bit, how well he was playing. But Tim Frazier, who I guess I didn't even really realize that he started throughout that game. I was just kind of assuming that he was coming off the bench and that Drew Holiday was playing point guard. Now, I think they must be missing someone. The really interesting thing, looking at the box score, is that Jahlil Okafor continues to not play. And I don't know why I'm fascinated by that, but I just thought he had a ton of potential in the NBA, and he played 1 fucking minute. But who would their backup point guards be? Darius Miller, Solomon Hill's kind of a in between, kind of like a combo guard, I guess, kind of like a 2-3 type of deal. Ian Clark played 2 minutes, and he's probably the next closest thing they have to a guard or a point guard. But Tim Frazier played really well, and the broadcasters, like I said, talked about he was kind of a catalyst for the entire team. He pushed the ball really well. He just kind of made things happen. He had 12 assists and really distributed the ball really well, and that's what you want from a point guard, really. I mean, he's not a liability as a shooter. Was 2 of 6 from 3, 33%. I mean, that's not eye-popping, but 33% from 3 it keeps the defense honest, at least. And he was 50% from the field, 4 of 8. He got to the basket a couple times and made some difficult shots in the paint, but was able to pull up, and just seems like kind of a nice little all-around point guard. I actually thought when I first saw him in the game that he was Isaiah Thomas, and I was like, kind of for the first couple minutes just thought it was Isaiah Thomas and that he was healthy again, and I was like not even really questioning that. And then I was like, wait a minute, Isaiah Thomas plays for the Nuggets, and I'm pretty sure he's not healthy yet. Washington, however, on the other side of the ball, didn't get a ton from Bradley Beal and John Wall. A lot of their points, Wall had 17 and Bradley Beal had 16. A lot of their points came late in the game. I mean, the final score of this one was 125-104 Pelicans, and a lot of their points kind of came when the score was in between, like a 20-point game and like a 11 or 13-ish point game. They were never really in reach, but they never were out of reach, if that makes any sense. And a lot of their points came as almost garbage points, just kind of in between points, and then they didn't get any stops. So the scoring that they were providing wasn't doing a whole lot. But both shot 46% from the field, around 20% from 3, 1 of 5, and 1 of 6 from 3. Both were almost -20. Bradley Beal had 11 assists, though. Wow, I didn't even notice that at all. Huh. Markieff Morris had 22 off the bench. I've been really impressed with the Morris brothers this year. They're both just really great, tough, all around. He played 32 minutes, had 22 points on 52% shooting, 9 of 17, 4 of 9 from 3, 44% from 3 is good. And 9 rebounds, 1 turnover, no assists, but he's not really asked to do a lot of playmaking or ball handling or anything like that. He just it just fits really well into a not very good team. But again, Markieff Morris, they could make him a part of a trade package. I know that they probably like him in Washington, and he'd be a great piece to have if they were to get, like a Kevin Durant. I don't think they'll get Kevin Durant, but I don't think it's out of the question. But if they were to put together a trade package with Beal, maybe you I don't know if they're going to give away anybody other than Beal. I don't know. You never know. Could throw Bradley Beal. As a Lakers fan or as a LeBron James fan, I don't even really feel like good about calling myself a Lakers fan. I'm just a LeBron fan. But as a LeBron fan, I would love to have Bradley Beal and Markieff Morris. That would be fucking awesome. Russell Westbrook last night had a triple-double and a 100-83 win over the Cavs. He played well. I like to criticize Russell Westbrook, but he shot 10 of 17 from the field, 58%. Shot 2 of 5 from 3, 40%. Didn't take, 5 threes is right probably in the ballpark for him. I'd probably rather see him take maybe 3 or 4, but that's a pretty good percentage as far as, that's a good, for his 3-point percentage. Actually, I have all the MVP stats, and I added him to the MVP thing. So real quick, I will pull up what his actual 3-point percentage is for the season thus far. And 44% is actually, I think, well above it. Yeah, it is well above it. His 3-point percentage is 19.6%. And those MVP, that percentage includes this game. But what else? The 18 rebounds, wow, and 15 assists, and was plus 12 and plus minus. So a really impressive game from Russell Westbrook. Now, granted, it's important to keep these things in perspective. He was playing the Cavs, and he was playing a rookie guard. He was guarded by a rookie point guard that probably won't be a point guard. Probably won't be in the league in the next 5 years. I don't know. Colin Sexton could have a halfway. I just don't. I think it's a stupid first round draft pick. I don't know who was still available that I would have rather taken other than Colin Sexton. But I don't really see his future being all that bright. Paul George had 18, shot 61% from the field. 1 of 2 from 3. Now he should probably that's him and Westbrook probably should swap. He should take 5 threes and Westbrook should take 2. Paul George had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 turnovers is far too many. Another game that I did watch the entire game was the Blazers and the Magic. Lillard played great. And CJ McCollum, I love the way that he scores. I enjoy watching CJ McCollum after the whole thing with Kevin Durant on his podcast. I sort of left a bad taste in my mouth as far as CJ McCollum goes. But last night he had only had 15 points and shot 35% from the field. Oh, well, maybe he didn't play as well as I thought he did. I was sort of questioning why Damian Lillard was very, very ball dominant towards the end of the game, but it makes sense because he finished with 41. I sort of, in the flow of the game, thought CJ McCollum was playing better than that. 1 of 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 2 turnovers, but Lillard had 41 points on 59% shooting, 13 of 22, 10 for 15 from 3-point range. And I actually did add Damian Lillard to the MVP matrix. I took out Steph Curry because he has missed a decent amount of games now in the small sample size of games that I'm drawing the statistics from. So I feel like it would be a little skewed, and I will add him back into it once he comes back, which I think he may be playing tonight against the Raptors. I think I remember reading that before on the podcast earlier this week. But I guess that's a good segue to jump into the. I didn't cover nearly the amount of things that I wanted to with the Trailblazers and the Magic, but all around, I think it was a pretty interesting game to watch. I enjoy. Maybe the Magic are like kind of good. which is sort of I shit on the Magic kind of a lot, but the Magic might like be kind of good in the East. Like maybe let me pull the standings up and see where they're at currently. They're 10-12, and they're first 1, 2. No, they're not first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're a playoff team right now, and I don't see Washington. All the teams below them are going to finish below them. I don't see Washington finishing better than the Magic, especially given the way the Magic are playing right now. But maybe Orlando is good. Now that won't really factor out to anything. They'll lose their first round game against the Raptors or the Bucks or whoever they play probably in the first round. I don't see them beating the Raptors, the Bucks, the Sixers, or the Pacers. Even though I haven't watched a Pacers game, they seem to be playing really well. But I just don't see them beating any of those four teams. So going back to the MVP matrix, I took some people out because I was trying to fit the way that I have this spreadsheet that I made. I was trying to fit it so that I could print out like the two sides of it on the same piece of paper. So I was limiting the amount of people I put into it. But I think what I need to do is just continue to add people throughout the year who accumulate a great season's worth of performances. Like people just kind of, like, oh, maybe this guy's in the MVP talks, and that's all it is MVP talks, really. So as long as I just keep adding these guys and keep it to a top 6 so that there's kind of more people to the way that the matrix is set up for those that are new listeners, although I don't believe that there are probably very many. But it's important to always be receptive to new listeners. Hey, tell your friends, everybody, listen to the I Can Do Anything podcast. Share it with all the people out there on all those social media things that you do. Actually, you really don't have to do that. I don't really care. But the way that this matrix is set up, I can add people to it, and then the scoring is divvied up by whoever finishes in each category first gets 1 point, and whoever finishes in each category last gets 10 points, or however many people are in the matrix. So I think adding more people to the matrix kind of takes the advantage away from some people, because when I took out Jokic and Griffin and added Kyle Lowry and Damian Lillard and Kemba Walker, and I added three little guys, and I took out 3 big guys. So the rebounding category is a little swayed. There's still some flaws, I think, in this MVP matrix. I think to make it really, really good, it would have to be a weighted thing, where I figured out a weighted system where maybe points and assists were weighted for a little more, and then team record, or just kind of figure out what I think the most important. So maybe it would be important to rank the categories as well, so that points and assists were worth a little more point, or I guess in this case worth a little less points, because the way that I've got it set up is like golf. So whoever finishes with the least amount of points is the highest after adding up all the different categories. If I haven't confused you completely yet, because there's no visuals, understand that I have a visual for this. So like I've created a spreadsheet where I can see it all, and I'm much closer to it. So I don't actually know if this makes any fucking sense to anybody listening, but at the end of the day, I can do anything. I don't really care, actually. It's just kind of more for me, I'm just talking. I'm just saying shit into this microphone. Okay, so I added Kemba Walker. Joel Embiid is still in it. Russell Westbrook I added. LeBron I didn't add. He's been there and will be there. He's earned his unless he gets hurt like Curry and misses a significant amount of games. LeBron James has earned and actually finished tied for second with Anthony Davis in this week's MVP matrix standings. So Davis is still in it. LeBron's still in it. Kevin Durant is still in it. Antetokounmpo is still in it. Kawhi Leonard, and then I added Kyle Lowry and Damian Lillard. So points per game, Durant finished first. Kyle Lowry finished first in assists per game. Russell Westbrook first in steals per game. Anthony Davis first in blocks per game. Rebounds per game, Joel Embiid finished first, plus minus. Giannis Antetokounmpo finished first. 3-point percentage was Kemba Walker. See, that's kind of where, like, if Curry was still in it, then Kemba Walker's number, he would have gotten a 2 for 3-point instead of a 1, so that just adds to his total, making his score a little higher. So I think going forward, I'm just going to have an endless amount of people that can always be eligible for it. Not endless, but like guys that deserve the credit. I mean, I almost added Harden, but he hasn't. Houston's not playing well enough, in my opinion, for him to be considered for an MVP, because I think that's a big part of it. Like, MVPs don't really ever go to teams that are no good. Where did I end up? 3-point percent? No, field goal percentage Antetokounmpo, and then win percentage was Lowry and Leonard. I changed that to win percentage because it was a record, and the way that the NBA website has the standings, it's just the highest win percentage is first seed, and then the next highest is the second seed, and that win percentage comes from their not their standings, from their win-loss columns, but I don't know how they compute it. I'm fucking terrible at math. I don't even like thinking about it. But the standings were Antetokounmpo finishing with 36 points. LeBron James and Anthony Davis finished with 44 points. Durant and Leonard finished with 45 points. Joel Embiid finished with 49 points. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where the cutoff is. So Antetokounmpo is first, and then Davis and LeBron tie for second, and then Durant, Leonard tie for what would be fourth, I guess, and then Embiid fifth. Okay, fuck it, I'll just tell the rest. Lowry, Westbrook, Walker, Lillard, and Lillard got blown out, kind of. Lillard finished with only 64 points. So I guess it's a good way to just keep a running total. Like if I'm not aware of somebody who is playing well, all of this, if I just take Lillard out of it and then he continues to play really, really well, I mean, I could just add him back into it, but I might as well just do everybody's who is worth an MVP, and if one week they surprise me, then they're in it. But the top 6, again, is Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis and LeBron tied for second, Durant and Leonard tied for fourth, and Joel Embiid tied for fifth. I think that's going to do it for me tonight. I'm really excited about this is a long one. I'm really excited about the Raptors, and I'm really excited about, well, it's not a long one, but it's just me, and I guess I had my first guest via a mobile phone on tonight, and so I guess it sort of felt like this was just me the entire time, but I did have a guest, didn't I? I'm really excited for Raptors and Warriors. I'm not going to be able to watch the Pacers and the Lakers until 3 days from now, which really sucks because it's going to be a regional game. And as I look at it looks like Lonzo Ball is out with a sprained left ankle tonight, he's questionable for tonight. And then the third game is Clippers and Kings. I can't believe the Kings are on national television, but I don't know how they do the national TV scheduling. I don't know if that's something they schedule like maybe a week out for who are going to be the TV games, but I know that they're always like TNT games are on Thursdays. So all of their games are already scheduled, and there's only 3 games in the NBA, so they've got to do it further than a couple of weeks, or even, maybe they would probably have to schedule all that stuff like within right when they schedule all the games. That only makes sense, I guess. Okay, now I'm rambling, and it is 7:59, so I'm just in time to join the start of the TNT broadcast. Warriors and Raptors should be the game of the night as far as I'm concerned. I think as far as a lot of people are concerned, two of the top teams in the NBA. So thanks for listening, and go tell your little sister that she can do anything. I promise it'll be a really, really positive thing for her.